When the local television stations covered the race for governor Tuesday night, they kept airing graphics like this one, portraying the contest as a head-to-head matchup between Charlie Baker and Martha Coakley. But three other candidates were on the ballot, including Evan Falchuk, who earned the support of just over 3% of the electorate. That may not sound like much, but it works out to just more than 71,000 votes. And in the contest with only 40,000 votes separating the major party candidates, that's a significant tally. It also earned Falchuk's United Independent Party a spot on the 2016 ballot, which was the real reason behind his run in the first place. So what's Evan's next move? He's here to tell us.
Thanks for having me.
So I guess I didn't realize that was one of your ambitions, to get your party established so you could run on other tickets.
Yeah, from the beginning we talked about this race as being about two things, winning and making sure that we could create the party. So we did win in our own way, as the intro said. We have a political process today that people feel does not represent them, that has gotten wrapped up in a lot of big moneyed interests rather than dealing with the concerns of ordinary voters. And when we see a race like this year in which a majority of the state legislators ran unopposed, where voter turnout, for example, in the primary was only 16%, it's a symptom of that deeper problem. So the way to change it is to found a new party and a new framework, to elect new smart people into our legislature, to change the dialogue in our politics so we can get away from these sound bites and get away from the effort to almost avoid dealing with any kind of serious issues. And that's the kind of race that I ran. It's kind of the race we're going to be having people run in 2016 as well.
So, but there's a hitch to all of this, because in 2016, it's a presidential year. There's no statewide races. So in other words, your party has to qualify for a statewide race, and there isn't one, so you could be booted off.
Well, yeah, the rules that have been set up, there have been so many of them throughout this campaign that are designed to keep people like me out of it. You're not supposed to do this. And sometimes it's things like debates where I'm not included, including, unfortunately, here at
WGBH. Yes, I know that.
But
it wasn't me.
All right, well, that's okay. I believe you. But also that you can maintain your party status by getting 1% of voters to register with the party.
Yes, right.
So that's a really important goal.
So you're going to go after, there's 52% of Massachusetts voters are unenrolled or independent. You're going to target them and try to get them to register, but people kind of like their independence.
Yeah,
what's the appeal going to be to get them to register in the
It's the same appeal that got those 71,000 people to come out and vote for my campaign, which is that we're going to change the way we do politics in Massachusetts. If you are not satisfied with the choices that you've had, if you don't feel inspired by them, we're creating the framework in order to make that into a reality. So right now what we're waiting on is candidly for the Secretary of State's office to issue the new forms that we can use to start enrolling people. We've got to get 40,000 plus people enrolled in this party by 2016. We will. We're going to be running candidates in 2016 for legislative office, and we are doing what we've been doing this entire time, a very deliberate process. We knew all about the challenges we'd face. We knew about the rules that try to make it so that you can't organize politically in the way that we are, and we're set up to overcome them.
You're talking about how you don't want it to be politics as usual with everything driven by the money, but how are you doing this? I mean, you put, I think, $1.7 million into this. That was your money?
My money. All
right. So how are you going to do the rest of what you're proposing to do without spending your money or somebody else's? You can't just go out, even knocking on doors, calling people. It all costs something.
It costs money. The biggest expense in these
Is that going to be your job for the next couple of years?
Well, I'm going to be doing a lot of different things, but among them is talking about these issues, enrolling voters in the party, finding and working with those candidates.
But I guess what I'm getting at is you're privileged in the sense that you can afford to do that.
Yeah.
A lot of people out there aren't in your position, and yet you're saying one thing, and yet you're actually, some of your tactics are the same because you have the money.
This is the challenge we have in our politics today. Is if you don't have the money, you can't participate. And I think in many ways they allow for the loophole of letting someone spend their own money like this because they figure, well, you just want to be part of the club if you're going to spend that kind of money, and you're going to play by those same rules. Or we're trying to do something that is grassroots, that is field-oriented, that is about building real relationships with people. And yeah, it costs money. And yes, if someone wanted to try to come in with a super PAC and support me, I would say go away, because I think super PACs are hugely detrimental to our democracy. We should have a situation in which it is publicly financed so that anybody can run and anybody can participate. That's the way our country was set up. Unfortunately, today it's become a closed, walled-off club for just either those who have the money to tunnel their way into this process, or people who are tied into those moneyed interests.
All right, so going back to the debate thing, and I was kidding because I did support the decision in the end to just have 2 people participate. I mean, there has to be a threshold. There has to be a measure. You have to have something that qualifies you. Otherwise, you could end up. And I've been a moderator of debates where, you know, a couple of people were Looney Tunes. They're disruptive.
Right.
And you know, they weren't meeting a minimum threshold in terms of a percentage.
So how come? What was my problem?
Well, you didn't either. You didn't meet a 5% threshold.
Okay. No one ever set out those rules, and it's been interesting for voters.
Well, the media sort of does it on their own.
On their own,
and so does the national and the presidential debates. Remember when Perot didn't qualify, Nader didn't qualify.
They have those those debate commissions, and all that stuff gets negotiated. What was really hard for voters to understand, it's less about me, but this was really emblematic for voters of what they see the problem is that we've got a political establishment that includes many people in the media that are complicit in it and saying we're going to decide what you should and should not hear, and so. Obviously, you've got a right to decide who you want to expose and who you don't. I did note that outside this building here at WGBH, it talks about the power of diverse perspectives. And you know, where I was outside of this debate with about 40 of my supporters, a lot of young people who worked real hard on this campaign, saying, "Well, we got a diverse perspective. Why are we on the outside?"
Well, I mean, a lot of people are included earlier in the process. As you know, we had you on the show. Everybody's included.
Not on your show. I wasn't on your show.
No,
we tried to. We really wanted to be. I know, and we were never. And this is one of the challenges that I mean, we tried. We worked really hard. We got a lot of coverage in a lot of places, but there were many places.
We did carry the debate that you were part of out in
Springfield. Yeah, but you know, this is one of the challenges that so many people in our campaign saw. There was a discussion on your program, the Friday night one. I don't know if it's yours, but the program where you were saying that we can't have candidates that are going to go spend millions of dollars, and the rich guys who are used to getting their way, and they can hire lawyers to sue people, and they can buy the signatures. And all the young people that worked on my campaign, students, co-op students, political science people, the people that volunteered, we didn't buy signatures, we didn't hire signature firms, and they saw that, and it was for them, it was like, wait a minute, this is...
Well, they weren't talking about you.
If they were, that
was a mistake. Yeah, but that was
really
a mistake.
wrong. It was, and you saw the comments if you looked underneath from people that did that work, and they were like, "Who are these people?" But the point is less about me; it's about what the effect it has on our democracy when you see that corrosive effect. So this has been all along a very positive, uplifting campaign. You saw the way we did our ads, the people we inspired to vote. It's what it's got to be about in the future.
Evan, good luck.
Thank you, Emily.
I mean that sincerely.
Thank you.